Hi there, my name is Kay Moon, and I'm a Western astrologer and Twin Flame channel, and this is a video about the Virgo New Moon taking place on August 23rd at 2:06 a.m. If you happen to be on the eastern seaboard of the United States, please check a time zone converter for your local time. A few quick announcements. There are just a few sessions left next week, the last week of August. I cannot believe I'm literally saying the last week of August right now. That's insane. This year has flown by, thank God, because if it had moved any slower being here in the United States, I don't know what I would have done with myself. But the fact that it's almost done has me extremely grateful because yeah, if you live here, you know. But um, there is a sale going on right now for new clients. There's a special 30% off. Links to that 30% off is below this video. It's been there for a while. For those who are on the private list, you already know. But if you're just getting in on it, I recommend you join the private list. They find out about things much sooner and sometimes get the only spaces available. Link to join is below this video. Quick question for those of you who listen to these introductions. Do you guys still see my community posts? Because sometimes I post stuff over there and I notice that I don't see community posts on the channels that I'm subscribed to from those creators any longer. And I have to go over there manually and see what they've posted and what I've missed. So I'm really curious if you could let me know down below if you see it. And the community is coming. The Star Club community is about to reopen. It is revamped. It is a community where we get to talk about astrology together. This one has no teaching in it. So it's just about us like getting together, new and full moon, to do the extended versions of the lunar updates, as well as I'll be bringing in some special guests and also sharing some insights in between ritual, journal prompts, all the juicy, yummy, fun stuff. So get ready. It is going to be a very affordable price, and I really want you to join. I think you're going to enjoy being a part of it. Also, I corrected something with my sound and my microphone. I know a few videos back, some of you let me know that it was difficult to hear. Let me know if it sounds better. All right, let's get into it. Here is our Virgo new moon. Now, you should know that there are two Virgo new moons this year. This one is at the 0-degree mark of Pisces, and then in roughly 28 days at roughly the 28th degree mark, sorry, not Pisces, Virgo, and 28 degrees of Virgo, we will also have the Virgo new moon solar eclipse coming, and we are already inside of that energy. We're roughly 30 days out. That will be on September 21st. And I'm really excited because this energy is the new beginning energy for new moons. This one is letting us know what's coming in. It is for all of us, it's letting us know what the new beginning is. And some of you may have started to feel some new beginning energy enter your life as early as June 21st, 90 days ago, from the September 21st eclipse, July 21st, 60 days, August 21st, that's now. And then as we get to September 21st, you'll hit the final activation point or peak activation point. Pay attention to what is on the Virgo Pisces axis for you in terms of houses inside of your chart, because that's where the activity will be this eclipse season. Those houses will be the ones impacted by this eclipse, both the Pisces full moon lunar eclipse on the 7th of September and this Virgo new moon solar eclipse on the 21st of September. And this is just like a preview. This Virgo new moon that we're getting now, it's like a prelude. It's part of the warm-up activation period. So pay attention to the events that are happening now because they may be part of the entire eclipse energy for you. Okay. I'll repost in the community section in a few days' time what that eclipse video that I did that covered all the eclipses on the Virgo Pisces axis and what to expect for each one of them, and bring you into present times so that you are aware of the upcoming dates for early next year and this year and what the themes are. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, how's your eclipse season going? We are definitely already in the energy of it. Here is our new moon. It is square to Uranus here in Gemini. And this is going to be a big one in ways that it's like we just didn't anticipate certain things. Here is Virgo. This is day-to-day habits. Virgo is our routines. Virgo is our patterns. Virgo is dedication. It's consistency. Virgo is also our pet familiars and our physical health. It's decision making. And then we have Uranus here in Gemini. And Uranus in Gemini, it brings unexpected communications, upheavals in electronics, technology, things that have to do with relaying messages, quantum leaps, quantum intelligence. It's part of why we have the AI revolution going on right now. With Uranus speaking to Virgo's new moon by square, this is going to bring up unexpected communications, routines, and plans that are normally going smoothly, not going as usual. It'll also bring new thoughts, insights, ahas, new inspirations. Those of you who are content creators, influencers, marketers, people who work with words, teachers, writers, you may find that there are breakthroughs in the way that you're operating in this arena, new ways that you're doing things, trying things as we move through this energy. And it'll give you an opportunity to where you may have hit a block in doing the way you've always done things. This is going to give you that breakthrough that you need to up level your creation, your creativity, the way that you serve in your routines. We'll also see that there are, for some of us, emotional revelations, things we didn't know about the way we thought. We didn't know about the way what other people thought. It's going to be like, oh, so that's where you stand. Got it. Okay. Didn't know that, but now I know. And that revelation may spark you going into some new directions in some of your relationships. The relationships impacted with Virgo. Now, this is also going to be highly contingent on the house that the eclipse is happening in for you. But Virgo represents our relationships that cover imbalanced power dynamics. So we're talking about bosses and superiors. We're also talking about juniors and direct reports, mentors, mentees, teachers and students. We are talking about clergy and congregation. We're talking about psychotherapists and clients, coaches and clients, these sorts of things, where you are in service and in exchange dollar for service, this sort of thing. These sorts of relationships can be greatly impacted by this particular new moon. Gemini, where Uranus sits, covers the arena of siblings, cousins, neighbors, soul family, the people that go beyond friends and have stepped into the arena of basically kin. With Uranus square this new moon in Gemini, and this is the first one. I'm not talking about the second one that's coming up, the eclipse. I'm just talking about this one now. Changes to these sorts of relationships that were unexpected can show up. Again, Gemini being that sign of the twins, you may find that there's changes in sibling relationships. And those of you who consider yourself or strongly identify with the label twin flame may find that there's changes in that dynamic as well in the arena of communication. These changes can also be impulsive. They can be unpredictable, or what people might call erratic. You might find that you or others are moving through periods of instability or irrationality. There can be emotional outbursts, there can be lashing out. And this is specifically also because we do see Mars here speaking to that Uranus from another air sign, that's Libra. And we would consider Mars in a very loose semi-sextile with this new moon in Virgo. And Mars, whenever Mars and Uranus get in communication, it's like act first and then ask questions later. And that doesn't always go well. See, it can. There are times when it's absolutely needed, especially when we're in periods of stuckness. Sometimes doing anything is better than doing nothing. For those of you who have been really stuck for a long time or like circling the drain on certain topics in communication, you may find that taking an unexpected or irrational action can put the entire connection on a brand new pathway at this time that is what's needed, like an upward spiral. But yeah, expect the unexpected with this new moon. We also see Mars speaking to Mercury here. I'm not going to cover that in very much depth. That's something I would cover in the new community that's forming, because they're not directly speaking to this new moon, but they are speaking to one another, and it's enhancing the way this new moon's energy can show itself. There's a lot of distraction energy in the air here. Maybe very difficult to get into some of the routine tasks that we need to do to sustain and maintain our daily life. You may need to set up extra structures, reminders, alarms, to make sure that certain things that normally get done. This is a period of time where you can also expect some perhaps interpersonal interactions that leave you with more questions than answers, given everything that I have just described. So buckle up. Um, and if any of these sorts of things have happened for you already, let us know in the comment section how you handled it, because I feel like the more creative ideas we can have when greeting the unexpected in ways that respect our sovereignty, the better off we're all going to be collectively. This new moon also sextiles Haumea in Scorpio, and there's Haumea there. She is known as the Hawaiian creation goddess. And in Scorpio, she's on her resurrection pathway. She did a retrograde at the cusp of Libra and Scorpio that facilitated a lot of clarity for us collectively about what we're ending in partnership and what we're wanting to take with us and resurrect. Because she's done with the retrograde, she's now on the resurrection pathway. And so this is the period of time where some clarity about what it is you want to take with you, keep, bring forward will come into clarity for you, specifically with this new moon. Now, for some of you, this is going to be a relationship itself. We know at the beginning of the year, we had Venus and Juno retrograde. Some of y'all experienced breakups during that period of time. But as Haumea is on the resurrection path, you may find that this is a season, especially with Jupiter Venus conjunct. That conjunction has now come to a close. Jupiter speaking to Juno in trine, the husband wife connection in water signs. You may find that things that ended earlier this year are now in a position to come into rebuilding, but from a completely new place with this new moon. new habits, new foundations, new rituals, new routines. With Haumea speaking to this new moon, it allows relationships to come into a place of new stable footing, new loyalty together based on, hey, this is what I learned, and I want to implement this new thing as part of the health and hygiene of the way that we take care of each other and ourselves in connection, so that we're really bringing our best self into connection. And this can be more than just romantic partnership. This could be any connection with Haumea speaking to Virgo in this way, and especially those connections, again, I say where there are imbalanced power dynamics, because Virgo governs that particular sign. And so if you've got some new habits that you want to adopt to bring your best self to work, to bring your best self to your colleagues, to your boss, to your direct reports, now is the time to really lay those out. They will have some longevity and sticking power going into the second eclipse that's coming up on September 21st. And if whatever you're stabilizing at that time, I do see it has the opportunity to have some stick and stay power for the benefit of your relationships going forward. So, something to keep in mind, that patterns started with this new moon and the next new moon in Virgo have the ability to last. So, make sure they're patterns that you really want to keep. There is energy here as well for deep order and organization for our next steps. This is a great time, especially with the distraction energy from Uranus hitting this new moon, and now Haumea here in Scorpio, a sign that deals with depth and looking below the surface and going strategically 10, 15, 20 steps out. This is a really great time for planning and strategizing, or reinstituting a plan that didn't work before because you didn't have certain pieces of information or resources, but you now have those pieces of information or resources. This is a great time for that planning, that strategic work. We'll go into a season that's ripe for execution, but if getting it all done right now is difficult, this is actually a really great time to maybe not get it done, but instead make the plan. Okay. Or at least make the foundation of the plan that you know you'll tweak as you move into implementation mode. We also see this new moon trine Pholus here inside of Capricorn. And this is going to make it easy to release ourselves from patterns that didn't work, or from people who have patterns that don't work. So let's just say you are in a relationship with people, and especially in the work arena, because Pholus is in our work sign, that's Capricorn, and you have an ongoing habit and pattern of picking up the slack for one of your direct reports because you want to see them succeed, you want to see them win, you believe in their potential, but they're just not keeping pace with everyone else. And so it's making more work for you. This may be a moment in time, especially with Pholus, who's retrograde, where you let them sink or swim on their own feet. Rather than picking up the slack for them, this may be a moment where you allow them to see what they're made of. See, and if they just can't cut it in the organization, then they find more appropriate work, or work that's better fitting in terms of pace or responsibilities, and you find somebody else that is a better fit for the position going forward. But there's a huge release in present time of caretaking of others who are really struggling to work within the available structure. There are seasons collectively where we change the structure. We know structurally things aren't always fair for everyone. The system, as it stands, fails many people. And I'm using the word the system in air quotes, right? Whatever system you want to attribute that phraseology to. It doesn't always work for everyone. But this is one of those moments where rather than changing the whole system, and there's some indication that that can happen with Uranus square Virgo, this is more of a season of a lot of personal accountability and changing our relationship to interpersonal dynamics where we are being compromised by other people's either unwillingness to work within the structure or inability to step up. And so this is going to force people to step up or step out of the way. And that goes for us personally as well as the people in our lives. And you'll really see some of that playing out, especially those of you who hold jobs, like are in that sort of 9 to 5, such a joke, structure. It's never 9 to 5 anymore. But you guys know and you're seeing it like changes in the way that the organizational chart looks at present time. Okay. And this little energy right here, which is the bane of my existence. I'm so over this. Chiron and Eris conjunct at the tail end of Aries. If they were just a few degrees this way, it would be the very beginning of Taurus, and that's what makes them trine to this new moon. I'm really not loving these two together personally. What they are ushering in for us collectively is a frequency of defeat. It's really forcing us to come into personal contact. Aries is the sign of everything that's quite personal with our own experiences of not enoughness, despair, ostracization, um, being excluded from the establishment, poked fun at because of our differences, this sort of thing. And so there can be this experience of feeling with these two running together, and they are going to run together well into the middle of next year. I would say maybe I checked this earlier today for a client. So roughly around February, March, April, we get a bit of a reprieve as Chiron pulls away from Eris. But then in the fall next year, October, September timeframe, Chiron retrogrades right back to sit with Eris, and then that defeat energy comes back online again. And collectively, you can see it, right? We are seeing the fallout of, cancel culture and the way people are dealing with the socio-political changes, dealing with um, there's like a meme in the arena of content creation where the meme is like the post or the title of the video or the blog is you're doing XYZ wrong. You're wrong. There's a make wrong in the zeitgeist, and we're seeing a lot of fallout from this being the collective conversation for such a long time where people's mental health is tired. They're tired of feeling wrong or bad or like they're not getting it or not doing enough. And this energy of defeat that's sitting here for the collective is in the sign of action, making a lot of people very passive, very complacent, looking for someone to blame for why their life is where it is. It's not my fault. It's the pharmaceutical company's fault. It's not my fault. It's the government's fault. It's not my fault. It's the tariffs' fault. It's not my fault. It's my boss's fault, my mom's fault, my kid's fault. It's not my fault. I came from a family that's like this. This sort of like, it's like a backlash energy to hyper accountability. It's a pendulum really swinging in the opposite direction. Um, And we're collectively going to move through a period of time where we right size accountability together, where, yeah, the system is messed up, and simultaneously, we are participants in the system. Like, did you vote? Like, did you call your congressperson? Did you speak to your representative? Did you make sure that people in your family, neighborhood, and building voted if you live in an apartment building? Right? Like, did you participate in the town hall, in the city hall, this sort of thing? Um, this sort of throwing our hands up and being victims energy, like I said, we have about the rest of this year and well into next year to kind of figure out how we are going to deal with this because you've probably seen it, you've probably experienced it collectively, like in one-to-one conversations, people feeling deeply victimized in present time by circumstances that seem and feel beyond our control. And this is Chiron and Aries in Aries. Both of them have experienced, and this is what they bring out and highlight in one another, where in the sign of personal and in the sign of the self, where we feel like we don't have any access to control because something happened to us. All of that to say, because it is the sign of action, it is the sign of doing something, it's a sign of behaviors, movement, momentum, activity. As we sort through this, we will find where our personal locus of control is, what we can focus on, what we can do. And so, one of the things for me personally, I'll give you a personal example with these two energies. Um, I know that it is my job. Like, I get paid. My rent, my bills are paid, my lights stay on because I can come and talk to you and give you insight and information from a place of potential and possibility and show you where options and opportunity are, despite the fact that, yes, many of us feel like the sky is falling, right? If I came on here every single week sensationalizing the horrors of 2025 and 2024 and 2023, it actually, like, might I get a few more clicks? Yes, but I'd also wear y'all out with the over dramatization of this. And so one of the things that I've made it intentional to do is just to stay on the side of light. Like, here's where possibility is, here's potential, here's where opportunity is, here's how you can navigate this. So, but in order to do that, I actually had to make the decision in the last 90 days. Yeah, I think it was the beginning of July where I was like, I had to intentionally unsubscribe from every single news outlet and every single YouTube channel that presented news, everything I was subscribed to on Instagram. I didn't even bother going through and unsubscribing and unfollowing. I just deleted the app. Um, yeah, I couldn't take in any more of the atrocities and inhumanities of 2025. It just wasn't going to allow me to be in service to you in a way where I could still see possibility and potential. And so I unsubscribed and I just no longer participate. Like, I've got a few different group chats with family and friends, and once in a while, somebody in there will drop a like, did you see this crazy thing that our president did? Or did you see this wild thing that happened? And I won't even look, like, not even allowed in my feed and my consciousness anymore. I'm less informed about the day-to-day goings-ons, but I'm also more peaceful. And what I've done instead, and this is the taking action part, is signed up for voter registration and being a poll site worker and figuring out what are the organizations that call local constituents and call the congressman to make sure that people are actively involved in our civic processes and duties here in the United States, this sort of thing. I'm going to take action where I can take action, and I am going to release trying to be abreast of things I cannot personally go over there with my own hands and change. So this sort of thing where we're really starting to place our hands in the clay, where we can personally affect change. And again, Aries is a sign of action, and the sign of the personal is one of the key ways we have an opportunity to confront the zeitgeist of defeat energy that people are really swimming in from a place of consciousness and present time. It's not about turning away. It's about turning toward where you can actually have an impact and then letting the rest go. Like really focusing on what you can actually do. So we'll be talking about this energy as we continue to move through it. It's just present in a lot of the lunations coming up. I've seen it's very present this year, next year in the collective energy. You're not going to see a lot of people talking about it because most people don't read Eris. It came with my software, so I read up on it, and I do. But I will say that it is important to really understand that this is a moment of facilitating localized impact, localized action, personal action, and really getting out of the victim consciousness that is running rampant in present time when it comes to the changes that are happening on the planet. Okay, so there we go. With that, they're speaking and trying to this new moon, and I bring this up because it's a new moon, and one of the things that you want to stay present to is that you're not settling into victim consciousness at this new moon. You're not settling into defeat energy. And instead, you're taking this to look at where am I feeling defeated and what small action can I take to release that. Okay. All right, so there's that. And we have a very loose square to this new moon energy from Juno and Vesta. It's actually not a square, it is a sextile. Well, no, it's a square. Juno and Vesta here in Scorpio. Now, if they just move 10 degrees this way, they'd be at 0 degrees Sagittarius. And I read with an orb of 10 degrees. Because some of the people who subscribe to this channel are sensitive within an orb of 10 degrees. They feel stuff 10 degrees out. I know many astrologers will say, that's not accurate. Well, tell it to the people who actually feel it 10 degrees early. What are they experiencing? You want to call them crazy? No. So here we are, Vesta and Juno in square to this new moon in Virgo. And what we have going on here, Juno is our sign of partnership, Vesta's dedication. They're in the sign of death, endings, closure, and completions. Speaking to this new moon in the sign of service details, decisions, and health. A lot of really big feelings can show up. Scorpio can be, it's one of our water signs, so it processes through the platform of the emotions. Big emotions can come up at this time. We might be feeling sentimental, nostalgic, maybe even a little bit dreamy about what could have been in the past. Scorpio faces the past in many ways. And so there may be this sort of sense of getting a little bit lost in the sauce with some of those feelings. Alternatively, especially if you've been having relationship difficulty, you may find that yourself or somebody else that you're dealing with may have a lot of feelings of self-righteousness. in relationship or partnership where it's just difficult to negotiate, to get on the same page, to see eye to eye, because both of you think you have the corner of the market on what's right and what's wrong, and what's truth and what's a hoax or, false facts or whatever. This can have us go a bit overboard emotionally as well, end up feeling a little bit clingy. With Vesta and Jupiter, we can find ourselves grasping, especially those who have identified themselves as having the anxious attachment style. You may find that this new moon activates that big time, especially if you're one of the signs who will feel this most. And I'm going to speak to those in a moment here. So just stay tuned till the end. But yeah, those are some of the energies going on here. And there can even be a clinginess to you seeing things my way because I'm right. And you just don't see the big picture. That sort of thematic can start to show up in partnerships. So, one of the ways to really handle this is to do a lot more listening than talking at this time. Another way to handle this is to have the conversations, recognizing where you're not on the same page, and just make note of it. Know that it'll be an ongoing conversation rather than a one-time conversation, and that you'll have opportunities to work through things together in the fullness of time, especially as these eclipses come in September. Okay. One of the coping mechanisms I'm seeing with some of the challenges of this energy, especially where you're in defeat energy, could be a little bit of overspending, impulse buying, going into debt is very possible here because Scorpios are a sign that deals with debt, credit, loans. So just be mindful of that, especially where you have joint credit cards, joint loans, your name and somebody else's name is on the thing. Okay. Um, it's going to be very easy to want to give in to feeling good, throwing caution to the wind. Even secret love affairs, impulse love affairs can happen here. Scorpios are a sign that deals with secrets. Again, Juno deals with the marital partnership. And there's not all of her story, but a large chunk of her story is colored by infidelity, not hers, but her husband's. So just be mindful of that in this energy, especially where you have been needing escape or release in difficult relationship. This new moon is best utilized by having difficult conversation, even if it's unexpected, even if it's out of the blue, rather than indulging in this secret affair release valve and then going back home and saying nothing to your partner and pretending like everything's okay when you're really not okay, when you may even be feeling deeply victimized in your marriage or in your partnership. This is a great time to have those kinds of conversations rather than turning away and trying to get release elsewhere. Okay. Outside of that, I would say misunderstandings can occur here, but like I said, being willing to say the awkward or uncomfortable thing can really smooth things out. So, um, that's what I have for this particular new moon. You'll have to let me know, like, just, you know, how this is impacting you. Like I said, that defeat energy in the zeitgeist, it's going to be with us for a while. And you may have one area of life in particular where you just feel like, yeah, it's just never going to get it together in this area. And may slide into a little bit of the proverbial efforts. Um, but like I said, it can be managed. This is a great time for planning and strategy, and then figuring out what small step you can take. You don't have to be overwhelmed by it all. Some signs who are going to feel this one most. Pay close attention because this is not usual. Normally, I can pinpoint a specific sign, but because this new moon is at a cusp, it's going to be you cuspers, sun, moon, rising, or stellium that feel this most. So we're talking about the Leo Virgo cusp, obviously, the Aqua Pisces cusp, the Taurus Gemini cusps, and the Scorpio Sagittarius cusps. Those groups at the edge of fixed and mutable signs are going to feel this particular new moon with more tension than anything else. Where things are either awkward or it's like, how do I figure this out? I got to be creative or thoughtful or strategic here. So definitely use the energy for that. Again, this may be the start of a conversation rather than the end of one, and it may be multiple conversations to work through certain challenges here if the challenges show up. Other people who will feel this one most are the fire and earth cusp. So we're talking about Aries, Taurus, and Sagittarius, Capricorn. You all will feel this as this new moon is trine to your sun, moon, rising, or stelliums at the edge of those signs. Now, if you happen to be in Aries, but you are a cusp, that's Pisces Aries, not Taurus Aries. I'm not talking about you, okay? I'm only talking to the cuspers that I mentioned. The rest are likely getting heavy doses of influence from the Lionsgate, the first eclipse, which is going to be a Pisces full moon lunar eclipse on September 7th, and the Virgo new moon solar eclipse coming on September 21st. And details about that will be over in the member area in the next couple of days. Not member area, but community posts. Again, you'll have to let me know. Do you even see community posts anymore? I don't, but I am really curious if you do. Okay, so um, if you're joining me for the Twin Flame Lunar Update, find me over there. I can't wait to chat with you about the energies and how they'll impact the Divine Connection Collective. Okay, thank you all so much, and I look forward to seeing what you have to say in the comments below. Take great care. Bye for now.